heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and past. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirusho here, and now, before we do continue, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, we had Deku and Kendo. Kendo was getting worse. Her condition with the voices has turned worse. She's starting to get sick, and Deku, he doesn't know what's wrong with her. She's been like this ever since All Might was taken down. And Deku, he's starting to get worried. At first, he thought that it could be that she was just, sick. But now, it's getting a bit worse. I mean, the doctors don't even know what's wrong. And right now, they're kind of on a timetable. That's what Deku does think. It's been nearly 2 years and 9 months. Now, with that, Deku and everybody, they investigated the subway. And they found what Deku theorized. Deku thought it was strange. Well, there are many zombie types. They don't seem to be natural, not organically found in nature. These things are evolving fast. I mean, there was the initial outbreak, the breakdown with quirks, and then just the spiral, where they started to mutate. I mean, the first one Deku saw was a locked jaws. And, well, I mean, it just got worse from there. Now, with that being said, Deku, he does want to report this back. And right now, him and a ton of people are currently sitting around a table. Deku, he called a meeting for the leaders of different settlements. And people, they were very reluctant to head to Deku's camp, since that place is a fortress with not only robot parts, but what people believe to be fully fledged robots. Now, Deku, he does understand where people are coming from. Now that Deku does seem to hold the keys to the kingdom, people are expecting him to act differently. I mean, he was the one who took out their biggest threats. And his plan, the first one they know of, went off without a problem. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. And that's something that many people, they still do regret. Some people, they don't really think that they could go through that again. And right now, they think that they could either bargain with Deku, or just pay him what he wants and be on their way. And Deku, whenever he does go to start, a ton of people are surprised by what he does currently do. Deku, he does go to turn and introduce 2 people to them, as he does so with his metal hand. And a bunch of people, they are watching that. And they're looking at him shocked. Alright, everybody. Now, I understand why we're having the meeting here in the settlement. However, I'm still refusing that my people give up their weapons, since you all think that I tried to call you into my place as a trap. That is untrue. In fact, these 2 will continue the explanation. And I believe they have a few things to show you all. Now, we actually do have May, who does go to sit down something on the table, and go to spread out multiple pictures. And a bunch of people, they're confused. At first, they don't know what this is, but then when they do look at it, it doesn't seem right. There's a picture of a red wall, and it seems to be dark. Okay. And when they do go to flip it over, or do go to look at the picture underneath, they do see the exact same image. However, this time, there is a light shining through. That is not a red wall. And then they do start to look at the other pictures. As there even is when they do go to look at the picture that isn't zoomed in. And right now, looking down at a strange thing. It's entirely just, what the fuck is that? Now, a ton of people are very surprised. And there is actually Deku, who he would go to stand up and bring both of his hands down to the table, informing all of them that that is proof of a hive, or, as his people like to call it, the pit. That thing down there is what is creating zombies. And he's assuming that any of the zombies who were washed away in storms, or even who became, unable to move, it's very likely that whatever's down there calls to them. It sends out zombie types to lure others back in. And he believes that it has a way of evolving them, or really just changing them. Since that is the only way to explain the mimics. And then there is the fact that he does have a vague theory with deceivers. Basically being normal people exposed to something. Or really just zombies who are purposely mutated to look normal. And a ton of people are confused. As Deku, he does explain to them the difference between a mimic and deceiver. Whenever somebody does bring up that a deceiver would be a better name for the other one. And a mimic would be a better name for the thing that mimics a younger looking person or somebody who would be in trouble. Now, Deku, he does understand their logic. However, he does explain the way he's already named them, talking about how he doesn't care. And a ton of people do watch Deku to shake that off, as he does explain his current idea. His current idea is to find the location and destroy it. And a ton of people, they immediately start bringing up ideas as to why that's a bad thing to do. And Deku, he does hear them. Right now, this idea Deku has, it is to destroy a hive. And if those things have nowhere else to go, they're going to come to the surface. Wherever the outbreak first started, the entire city was fucking swarmed. Streets were literally littered body to body with zombies. And now that they're actually able to drive through a street, he wants to destroy the only thing keeping them down there. And Deku will continue to explain. There are many reasons why he wants to do this. There also is the reason that there is a monster down there that is keeping the subway off of their plate, off of their radar. Anytime something goes down there, it's immediately taken, if it makes a loud enough noise. Now, everybody there are kind of confused, and Deku, after explaining it a whole lot better, they're starting to understand. Along with that, they're starting to get suspicious. This sounds a little bit personal to Deku. And Deku, while he is asking for their help, he does inform them that it is not needed. Because he believes that if they do take down the hive, then they can actually put the city back together as they all do want to. Right now, the hive is what is feeding the zombies, keeping them up and mobile. It makes sense, right? It's some sort of fluid. There's just pools of this stuff down there. And he wants to know exactly what it is and what it's doing to zombies. Because right now, if they don't do what they need to, then, more than likely, that thing is going to spit something out at them they can't fight against. And no amount of armor-penetrating bullets, explosives, or even a fucking calculated airstrike could take it down. So, he wants to try and stop this and save their city, because he's fairly certain that this thing, it might be a main hive. And people are there kind of confused to hear that. And Deku, he does sort of explain. He's talked to Melissa and May about it, and even David Shield. Now, a ton of people are very confused. As Deku, he does get to turn to Melissa, and she's going to turn around. Her going to reach out her hand and go to pull a sheet off of David Shield's brain. And everybody, they do go to turn and look at it, as some people do go to freak out. Some even leaping out of their seats, and some remaining seated, but still at least looking very shocked. Hello everyone. Everybody at least more surprised at that. Somebody going to pull a gun. Now, Melissa would step in front of David's shield, and Deku, he would immediately go to bring out his hand and go to at least put the blade out. A ton of people going to look directly at Deku, as he does go to look directly at the person who's holding the gun. And the person is just staring at Deku, him still with his hand outstretched and standing, as he does just stare at them. Listen, this man here is David's shield. What's left of him? I've told him about my theories. He worked on an experimental cure, and right now, this is something that he himself believes is possible. Now, you will listen to what he has to say. And David, he would start to explain it to them. He goes through the complex motions of it, and even the science behind it. Whatever is down there, it holds not only many mysteries, but possibly answers. And right now, they are in need of answers. Now, with that being said, we do at least have some more time later, where everybody, after Deku and his crew do go to leave, they start to think about what's going on. They need to understand this better now. And right now, they believe that the best option would be to reach out to cities and talk to them. They know that there are some people on the radio who they do broadcast information and try to share what they know about the infected. Now, they would try to contact anybody available. And right now, we do have Deku and everybody back at his camp. Everybody, they are starting to gear up. And right now, multiple different plans are being made. A plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. However, everybody dies in plan C. So let's go with plan A first. Now, plan A is quite simple. They try to take out and cave in the area where this hive is. And once they do so, they make sure to be thorough. They set it ablaze and burn something that nothing could escape from. They seal up the entrances to the subway in that area, and they just light the match. Or more or less, click the button. Now, it does somewhat bring up a good idea. They could do that, but they don't know exactly how much of an area they'd be taking out. Especially because you have to take into account structural stability of the area and even environmental factors, such as the fact that they're basically trying to make a man-made sinkhole. Now, it is somewhat worrying, and Deku, he can't understand that. And right now, we do currently have Plan B. Plan B is a bit more simple. However, it's also a bit more dangerous. They fully storm into the hive, and they use robots from UA. They get as many 1-pointer, 2-pointer, and 3-pointers running as possible. And they at least do try to get a 0-pointer operational. They don't really have a use for it. However, if that thing does wake up and start moving, it's going to attract everything in the city to its location. So, Plan B is almost Plan C. And Plan C, it's Deku's original plan. Fill it with gasoline and light a match. That's it. And they pray whatever's down there doesn't get out. Now, it's quite easy. However, there also is a problem with Plan C. Anything down there, they'd immediately evacuate. They'd be able to get out of the entrances that are unsealed. And trying to seal them, that would cause too much of an issue. Because it's something simple. The moment the exits start to get sealed, if these things are intelligent enough, then they'll just immediately just either evacuate, leave, or fight. Along with that, they don't know what they're dealing with. So, if this thing is attracted to sound, it might pull them in and rip them apart, or put them in one of these strange pools. Now, with that, we do currently have back over Deku. Deku, he's currently holding on to Kendo. And Kendo, she is having some trouble. Right now, she is laying in Deku's arms. And she is trying to recover from another strange episode. And Deku, he is trying to tell her to just focus on him. Focus on him. He's right here. He's not going anywhere. Kendo. Hey, are you okay? Okay. Listen. Hey, look at me. Look at me, Kendo. Deku bring up his metal arm. As he does go to turn her head. And she does just look right at Deku. Hey, are you okay? My brain. Something's wrong. What's wrong? What is it? I hear it again. A new one. It's saying something to me. Kendo, you know what's gonna happen. You know they'll all die. There are many of us. There isn't just one. We know where you're hiding. We know where you're hiding. We know where you're hiding. We know where you are. Now, Kendo does hear that. It starts out slow and, well, eerie. And then there is the fact that you start to hear more chanting. More voices. And it does just shock her. And right now, she's going through the ringer with that. Now, Deku, he's getting more and more concerned. And right now, he does have an idea. May and Melissa, they were able to pinpoint, using the tracker, where exactly the hive was. And right now the streets, yeah, they should have guessed. There is a military encampment just above it. One they haven't investigated. Well, they have been around it, they have not been to it. And right now, they need to go. The encampment is in a place that is quite simple. It's at a hospital. And right now, it does pose some concerns. Since Deku doesn't know if the parking lot could be busted open, he doesn't know if it's inside the building, underground somewhere, or if the entire place, it could just be the result of the nest making itself open and available. And that's something that they do need to look into. And Deku, currently, he does think. As he's currently sitting down outside on the patio, or in the area outside of his room, that does look over the entire area outside. Now, Deku, he is sitting down, and right now he does go to turn his head and see that there is somebody over by the staircase, and he can see something slightly glowing, and he can see smoke. Now, Deku would go to leave his room, As whenever he does go to walk out, he does go to sit down next to Melissa. As whenever she does go to turn, she does go to somewhat quickly turn and go to try and put out her cigarette. Now, the moment Deku he does go to tell her that she's fine, she does go to just somewhat turn back to him. My bad. Forgot people don't care about this anymore. Usually I keep it to myself. No worries. No worries. So, do you have any idea what's actually wrong with her? With Kendo? Yeah. I mean, she's just, it didn't seem so bad. Just motion sickness, fatigue, and just odd headaches. I mean, there was even the physical pain she seemed to go through, but this is a lot worse. It's intense. Hmm? What? She's going through body pains? I think so. And she's having an episode, right? Yeah. This happens whenever she does have one. I just don't get it. Okay, there is something to look into there. Alright. Anything else you can tell me? Not really, no. She just, she freaks out. She tries to not let it show on her face, but it's been getting worse. I mean, she'll have a bunch of these at one time, and then it'll stop all of a sudden. But she says she heard something this time again. She heard something. Yeah. I don't exactly know how to put it, but she said it knows where we are. What? Yeah. Is that weird? That is concerning? Yeah. So, I don't understand this. She's just. I'm really worried about her. I can tell. You care for her, don't you? I do. She kept me on the right track. Her and Momo. Really? So, you and her are together, right? Yeah, we are. And you and Momo, you two, you not. Hmm? No, no. I mean, at one point we were, but now we're not. That was a while back. That was, after this all happened to me. After a year. We only knew each other for about that time, and then we just sort of needed to get away. I mean, it was good. It was nice. But I just don't know anymore. I mean, everyone I've ever met, they're dead. I had to put down friends, family, and, well, it wasn't good. I even had to betray myself. I never thought I'd have to kill people. But that first one was an accident. The other ones, though, they were deliberate. Are you are you confessing your sins to me? Sorry. Fuck, I started monologuing. I'm just I have a lot to think about, you know? Besides, I do have a plan. But right now, we need explosives, Melissa. Do you know what you can do? Um, Depends on what you need. Well, you know the hospital? how hard do you think it would be to make that place a sinkhole? Or really, well, a crater, assuming the building isn't collapsed. Now, Melissa, she would start to talk about a few things. If they're going to make this item, they need these ingredients. If they make this item, they need these ingredients. They can make this item right now, because it's actually a bit more simple to make. However, they do need to at least collect these ingredients. Now, Melissa would continue. And right now, Deku, he does talk to them. And, well, talk to Melissa. And right now, she does continue. And we do even have where Deku does go to get that shiver up his spine. Now, Deku, the moment he does go to get that, he does look right at Melissa. And Melissa, she can tell by the expression on his face, something is wrong. Are you okay? Okay. I got a shiver up my spine. I'm gonna turn my head, and if I freak out, there's a good reason for that. Oh, okay. Now, Deku, he does get a turn. He looks down and out. There's nothing there. I mean, there's that tree over there by the wall, but other than that, there's nothing. And then Deku is going to look towards his left, towards where the gate is. He can see it in the distance. And he can also see the tower they did make. Somebody there currently on duty. So they do have that going for them. And right now, Deku does get fully turned to his left, as he expected to see the All Might zombie sitting down about a few steps away. Or, well, at the end of the other step. Or even maybe behind him. However, All Might was directly next to him. And Deku, he immediately going to jump upwards and off of the staircase. Him going to turn around and look directly at the All Might zombie. As from Melissa's point of view, Deku looks like he just saw, well, as you can probably guess, a ghost. Now, the moment Deku is going to get up, he does going to turn and throw out his arm. And his knife, or his blade, is going to pop out. Melissa watching as Deku, he does go to somewhat bring his arms up, before going to somewhat relax a bit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Sorry. I see him sometimes. Are you... I thought I explained it to you. I physically see him. Not he's in my dreams, not he's in my head saying something, and I just see an outline of him. I physically see him. And, he's right next to you now. Now, Melissa will go to turn and go to bring her hands up, asking if she is touching him right now. As Melissa, she is just waving her hand through him. Yeah. Anyways. Sorry. Okay. Melissa, if the hospital isn't how we think it is, we need you to build something. Okay, no. What? I am going to say this once. I believe I have a good idea as to what you're asking me for. And I don't think it's a good idea. What am I asking for, Melissa? You want to blow it up, don't you? Shake up the hospital. Collapse it and turn it into a grave. But right now, I ask you this. What happens if we do this? Where do those things go? If some of them even escape, then we'll have problems. UA was a very prestigious school. 0.2 acceptance rates, but people from all over the country try. They want to get in. And remind me again exactly how big the population of your city is. Now, Deku, you would go to think. The number, it's pretty high. Now, with UA being a very prestigious school, I want to say it has a ton of people around it. And if I do even have to give that a number, I wouldn't say it's like New York, but I would say, well, New York has a lot of people, if I'm right. I think it's over 10 million. Anyways, I may be wrong. It might be more, it might be less. I want to say that they have at least around 700,000. Now, I feel like that would be pretty good, especially because it's a very big and large sized town. Now, with that, Deku, he does know exactly how big the population is. There are hundreds of thousands of people here. And Melissa, she is bringing up the idea that if this does not go as planned, then the streets will be infested and zombies will be all over the place once again. And this time, they might actually get their targets. Since if they do starve them, they'll actively try to hunt. They will actively look out for flesh in more aggressive manners than they have ever been at. Since if they have this stuff to keep them somehow from breaking down, or even just a place to eat, if they take that away from them, then they'll actively hunt with more aggression. And they'll become more hostile. They will go out of their way to attack. And right now, that's not really something that they do feel should happen. Now, with that, Militia she would go to put out her cigarette and walk away. And Deku currently, he has to rely on Mei. Mei, she may be his only option now. Melissa thinks that this is a bad idea. And she doesn't really want to have faith in Deku. But at the same time, she herself does remember that there was something going on Island. And whenever people they did try to destroy it, zombies became more aggressive. I mean, it must have just been the beginnings of a hive. That could be it. But at the same time, if that's it, then they're going to be in trouble. He's going to go to Mei. Now, Melissa, she does understand this. And right now, she does want to plan something out. However, she does think that right now it'd be better to leave. Better to stay away from this chaos. She did spend some good time here. And she's pretty sure that if she does take a car and leave, as long as she does leave down a note, they won't come after her. They aren't the type to pursue. I mean, granted, she's earned her fair share here. Building tech, helping out a lot, remaking and even repurposing some designs to do better things. Hell, even making that guy a fucking metal arm. He wouldn't come after her. Because, if he did, she'd just use tech against him. Now, Melissa, she does make plans to leave. At least keeping that in a good place in her head. And right now, Deku, he was going to write down a note, leaving it on Mei's workshop as she is currently sleeping. Now, he does get to leave and think about what to do, as he does try to ask one of the other users if they can talk to him, because right now he does want some guidance on this. And right now, somebody would pop up. And Deku, his eyes do widen whenever he does see their face. See exactly who they are. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.